Hello everyone, it's Monika and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing fantastic collaboration with Monika from YouTube channel Crafting with Quilling Lady, where we're going to use free stamp set from Creative Stamping Magazine issue 112. So I'm going to link her video in the description box so you can check out what kind of projects she created from the same set. And I'm using this template for a pop-up box card I found online, and I'm going to link that template below the video so you can check it out as well. So I traced it around and I cut it out two pieces from craft card, and as you can see on the templates there are some score lines I need to do, and this is the first time I'm doing this card. I've been planning to do it for a very long time, but I never had the time or an opportunity to actually do this card. So this is the first time, and I'm actually recording that card on my channel. So this is something new, so I hope it will come out the way it should. So let's see, and finger crossed. So I'm checking if everything is correct, and once both pieces are scored and burnished, I'm using a liquid glue to join them together because we need to connect those two pieces. If you prefer, you can use double-sided tape if it's easy for you, but I'm using liquid glue because I still got those few seconds to maneuver and align those pieces together, because this one is this card can be a bit tricky, and especially because I'm doing it for the first time. I wanted to have that few seconds to make sure that my card is straight and everything works properly. So I'm checking now to see if everything is okay and how to fold and unfold. I'm going to glue the center together once I've got all the embellishments in place. So I'm just checking if it works. So I stamped and colored the embellishments, the stamps. I used waterproof ink and tri-blend alcohol markers from Spectrum Noir. And as you can see, I use also a Posca pen in white to add some highlights on those mushrooms. So I hope you like my coloring. It took me a while to do it, but I'm really happy with the results. For the sentiment, I used VersaFine Clair in black, and I used craft card to cut a doily under that sentiment. Now I'm checking the background because I decided to do like a sky and blending technique on my background. So I'm picking two ink pads. These are water reactive ink pads from a Spectrum Noir in Oasis and Frosted Sea Glass. So I'm using those two colors. I wasn't sure about if that Frosted Sea Glass will work well with this project, but I add just a little bit to blend those two colors, because I was thinking just one color, maybe it's not going to be as nice as I wanted it to be. So I'm blending those two colors. As you can see, it looks quite nice. I'm just checking with my stamped images if the background is dark enough to see if it works with my project. So I'm adding a little bit more, and I think I really love this adding colors and mixing them together to create something different, and instead of using actually designer papers. So now I've got the background ready. I'm going to check if my composition will be okay, if everything will have enough space. So I'm attaching that blue panel on the top of the craft card, and let's see. So now I'm trying to create a panel for the front of my card. So I use this stamp which has connected leaves from that Autumn Woodland stamp set, and I'm using Versamark watermark stamp pad to use a heat embossing technique. So I'm going to use clear embossing powder, and then you will see that I'm going to use inks once again to create autumn panel for the front of my card. So because that ink is staying quite wet for a while, so I decided to actually stamp the whole panel at in one go, and then I'm going to use the embossing powder. Of course, if I'm going to find that something to put underneath it. So I'm using heated up clear embossing powder on my white card. And then please remember to use anti-static bag and heat your heating to a few seconds before actually heating the embossing powder. So as you can see, I'm heating it from the back because that's how I prefer. So I cut those squares which are exact nice size for the front of my card, and now I'm using 3 inks. These are water reactive inks from Spectrum Noir in the colors Lemon Tonic, Orange and Grasshopper. So I'm using all 3 colors, mixing them up, checking if I like the result or not, adding more of a particular color to create my backgrounds. As you can see, it's a resist technique with and the leaves, you can actually start to see the leaves coming out from those panels. So the more ink you add, the better you can see those heat embossed elements. So I'm adding green and more orange. I think yellow looks really pretty on this background. So this is a really nice, fun way to create something different and unique, because depending on which colors you use, for example, you could use brown color, orange and a bit of red, for example, and you would achieve a completely different look. So I'm still adding more color and blending those colors together, because if you know water reactive inks, they blend really well together. So I chose those inks because I know how well they blend. And now you can see those finished panels, and I hope the light is okay for you to see exactly how it looks like. You can see all those white leaves coming out, and I decided that I think it would be better if I add a bit of distress ink on the edges of my panels to give a bit more darker look, because on the craft card it will stand out a little bit better. So I hope you like this one, and I do like the way those panels looks like. So you can see my card, and I'm when I'm putting those panels on top of that craft card, it looks really nice. I was thinking for a moment that maybe I should have add more darker brown color on the edges of those panels, but I think it looks okay. So let me know, what do you think about this project? What do you like? Do you like this technique of blending embossed images? Do you use it a lot? Because I don't use those techniques too much, but for this particular project I think it looks very well, and I think it will, because of the colors and because of the autumn stamps, I think it's just perfect. So as you can see, I'm adding that stamped image in the center of my card, and I'm going to pop it and leave it for a moment, because I want to see. You see, it looks really well. So I want to pop it down so I can actually work on my background easily, without those that image to maybe obstruct my vision of what's going on the back. So I'm applying liquid glue on those trees, I'm going to add the liquid glue on the trees, and I'm going to add some foam pads on those mushrooms to give a bit more dimension look. So the foam pads are very easy and really useful tool to add a bit of more dimension, and I think in almost all of my project you can see me adding those foam pads. And as always, I have to add a little bit of liquid glue just to make sure that everything works well. And of course I forgot to add that tree, because the tree has to be at the back, so I'm trying to check if the composition works for me or not. So it can be a bit longer process to make sure that everything looks well enough for a particular project. So as you can see, those that background looks quite well already, and I'm keep checking if my card can be folded easily or not, because this is something I wasn't sure if I can manage to do it, but it looks really well. So another tree will go on the right, and I'm just thinking that maybe it's a bit too tall, so I had to snip a little bit of that tree, and of course adjusting the sizes. And as with the previous one, I had to add a little bit of foam pad to give a bit of more dimension to the background. So another snip off camera because it's not that straightforward to create a good background, but I think it looks really well. So I'm just making sure that everything works well, and I'm thinking about the sentiment. I think the sentiment needs to be raised a little bit as well. So again, I couldn't resist, and I had to add those foam pads, and the foam pads on under the sentiment and under that little doily as well, because I think it will look much better. So I'm adding this craft doily underneath my sentiment. And this sentiment says, autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go. I really love the sentiment, and of course I stamped and colored quite a few leaves, and I was thinking to use them somewhere, but I couldn't decide where to put them. So now I'm adding glue to the center of the card, and as you can see, it's not very good to do it on the during recording. I think it wasn't easy for me to maneuver everything, and but it's there, yeah, and it looks really well. So I'm adding those wooden clips just to secure those corners, because I have to make sure that everything it looks good and it's not going to fall apart. So I'm trying to maneuver those leaves around my my card to see where is the best place to adhere them, and I decided to use those small ones around my sentiment. So I'm using the small ones, and I'm trying to figure out where to put the bigger and the green leaves. So of course I had to keep checking and looking which way is better, and I think I decided not to add them at that stage. But once you look at my finished project at the beginning of the video, you will see that the card is actually has some leaves at the front of the mom and baby wolf. I think these are wolves, I think. So let me know. So this is the finished project. I hope you like it, and please check out the beginning of the video to see actually that I added extra leaves and extra embellishments. So I hope you like this project, and please go to Monika's channel. The link is below in the description box, so you can see what kind of beautiful project she created with the same stamp set. So I hope you like it, and please go to the link, and if you do the same project with that stamp set, please share it with us. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.